My name is Danish. I am from Ahmedabad. I'm a college second year student. Akshath actually asked me to make a review. So here's a review about his 10-day live workshop. So previously, before the workshop, I wouldn't say that I was completely in a rut, but like thoda bahut part of my life was in a rut. I did have a few problems that I felt कि मैं बार-बार उसी पे fall कर रहा हूँ. Like I couldn't stay consistent for a long time, or I had zero focus. I can only focus for a minute. या फिर I felt like I'm addicted to internet और मैं टाइम मैनेजमेंट ये सब नहीं कर पा रहा एंड आई फील कि बार बार यही प्रॉब्लम्स मेरे लाइफ में आई जा रही है एंड आई एम नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व देम और मैं किसी अराउंड से पूछ भी नहीं पा रहा क्योंकि आई डोंट हैव दैट सर्कल एज वेल सो अक्षत हैड अनाउंस्ड ही इज गोइंग टू हैव अ लाइव वर्कशॉप फॉर फ्री सो मैंने बोला कि व्हाई नॉट आस्क हिम फ्री है तो क्यों नहीं तो व्हेन आई जॉइंड द वर्कशॉप लाइक यू वांट मी टू आंसर दैट फ्रॉम व्हेन आई जॉइंड द वर्कशॉप आल्सो कि इज दिस फाइन
Yeah, no. Say whatever you have to say, then I'll ask the questions also.
Yeah. So when I joined the workshop, he was very clear about what he's going to do for the next 10 days, which I felt like would solve my problem. So I continued joining his lectures for the rest of the 10 days.
How has your mindset shifted since the workshop series has started?
hmm one class you taught about stoicism, which means you don't need to act emotionally to everything and think more factually or rationally to take decisions rationally. So, for example, I used to set myself up, yeah, I'll wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But instead, what used to happen is I used to wake up at 9. And I used to start mourning about that कि यार ये क्या मतलब मैं 6 बजे नहीं उठ सकता, what am I going to do with the rest of the day. मैं बहुत sad feel करता था about that. So I started thinking more factually or rationally कि नहीं भाई, I need to think about the rest of the day and not cry about what has already happened. So this thing I would say कि very has affected me a lot, like stoicism. And something else would be like कि I used to have a lot of brain fog कि मैं ज़्यादा सोच डिसीजन सही से ले नहीं पाता था एंड आई यूज्ड टू वॉक थ्रू द डेज लाइक मेरे को लगता है कि लास्ट इफ यू आस्क मी कि मैंने 2 दिन पहले क्या करा आई वुड नॉट नो एनीथिंग बट आफ्टर टेकिंग द रैशनल डिसीजन लाइक ठीक है मुझे अभी जेन्युइनली ये काम खत्म करना है एंड मैं ये करना चाह रहा हूँ इफ आई स्टार्ट थिंकिंग इन अ मोर रैशनल थिंग वे so I will know what I'm doing in the day, what I'm doing in a day.
People
Yeah,
have
that
this.
is what I
People have.
learned from this.
Yeah, people have this very weird and very bad and a very wrong misconception about stoicism. They think it's like somehow misogynistic and masculine and stuff like that. Misogynist, like
Mm-hmm.
stoicism is simply कि you feel emotions, you're allowed to feel emotions. You just don't act according to them. You just don't let keep
Mm-hmm.
because you said na you exactly what you said was happening to me as well. I used to wake up and if I woke up late, the rest of my day would be shit. And now I know that if my rest of the day is shit because I after waking up I'm like mourning about it. I'm like, oh, मैं सुबह जल्दी नहीं उठ पाया. And then for the rest of the day I'm thinking about that. Instead, if I'm like कुछ कर लेते हैं, if I get like 2 hours of work done,
Mm-hmm.
that's like my day turned around upside down like completely. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very very
Yes.
interesting that your emotional state is very correlated to your like physical state. So you can do things to change your
Yeah.
emotional state. People don't think like that. That's very interesting that you equated it like that. Okay. Next
Mhm.
question is what specific actions or changes have you made since attending the workshop that you weren't doing before? If there's something that you'd like to share.
Um, Probably the habit tracker. That is the one thing I do every day, and I feel key that single-handedly will make me a better person. You also suggested a book called.
Yeah, yeah, speak.
Uh,
Say please.
you also suggested a book about compound effect. I
Mm.
started reading it, and actually, it genuinely motivated me a lot because मैं अभी more I think more about कि मैं कैसे consistently रह सकता हूँ. Suppose for example, like let's take gym. I also do gym. So मैं एवरीडे ये सोचता हूँ कि मेरे को कितना मैं ये नहीं सोचता कि मुझे कितना ट्रेन करना है बट आई ऑलवेज थिंक कि मुझे एवरीडे शो अप करना है लाइक शोइंग अप विल टेक मी टू मेक अ बेटर पर्सन लाइक इवन इन बुक लाइक एटॉमिक हैबिट्स वो कहते हैं कि 1% अगर तुम चेंज करोगे तो यू आर गोइंग टू बी वेरी डिफरेंट पर्सन व्हेन यू आर लाइक इन पास्ट सो आई कॉन्स्टेंटली थिंक अबाउट बीइंग कंसिस्टेंट विद द हैबिट ट्रैकर मुझे लगता है कि वही एक चीज है जो इज गोइंग स्टेबल इन माय लाइफ और आई हैव चेंज्ड दैट इन माय लाइफ So that is the single identity thing that will, I think, will take me to be a better
That's
person.
awesome. Were you not keeping a habit tracker beforehand? Was I the one that introduced you to the habit
I
tracker?
did used to have an online app वाला based, but that was shit. तो मैंने उसके बाद बंद ही कर दिया कि ये तो होने से रहा.
Yeah, online stuff just doesn't work, bro. जब हाथ में वो कागज होता है ना, like see,
हम्म.
I still have the habit tracker mind. So जब जब
हाँ.
पेपर में जब टिक मार्क लगाते हो ना, तो उसकी बात ही अलग है. Alright, next question. Can you give me an example of a situation where the concepts that you learned in the workshop helped you overcome a challenge? Is there something like that?
So stoicism was one thing, and one more thing you told me was ki go on this dopamine diet for a
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
So I did that, and that helped me overcome this dopamine wala thing, and also the concept कि तुम्हारे dopamine receptors fry हो जाते हैं and then you become a zombie. So I'm very conscious about using this phone. और जब भी मुझे phone use करने के बाद ऐसा feel होता है कि यार I overused it, then I think about the concept you told me कि तुम्हारे dopamine receptors fry हो चुके. So I start thinking कि let's do something that is less dopamine, like reading a book or listening to music.
yeah.
So that concept I felt कि like has helped me a lot.
Do you feel like that, like the good sources of dopamine are like helping you get away from like when you have your dopamine system fried? Like जब 2-3 दिन पहले I downloaded Instagram because I thought I'll like post some pictures of दशहरा में लोग आए होते हैं and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
thought I'll post some pictures. I just ended up scrolling on them. So I'm like super
Yeah.
addicted. I can't keep Instagram on my phone. So for like I
Mm.
even though I scrolled for like 5-10 minutes, I still felt like my dopamine was because of how sensitive I am to this stuff. I felt like my dopamine system was completely fried. I completely like I switched my phone off, kept it away, and just started walking around my house like a like
Mhm.
zombie kind of. So that helped me better because that was like that is sort of like refueling my brain. That's like re-establishing my dopamine surface. That is, would you say it feels
Mhm.
like something like that?
Yeah, obviously. Feels like you're fried or this dopamine receptors. Then I need to do something calming to get back to the normal state. Otherwise,
What's
I
your
would go on a spree of like dopamine, dopamine, dopamine.
what's your usual go-to activity to go to after you just feel like you have fried your dopamine system? Like to help replenish your dopamine?
Sitting idly,
Okay.
sitting,
Okay.
yeah, sitting idly. Second thing is like I adopted reading books. Books maybe like self-help books. I get bored sometimes. Like
Yeah.
the compound effect book you said, I read about 40%, and then जब मेरा ये football वाला everything stopped, तो मेरे को लगा कि it is not helping me read, and he's telling me techniques to get a life better, but मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि कुछ it is helping. So I started reading comic books. So comic books is also helping me get away from this dopamine वाला.
Okay. Okay.
It making me more calm.
I feel like comic books are still kind of like a bad dopamine, but
दो मिनट.
that's still like way better than normally just scrolling on it.
हाँ
So
हाँ
that's good.
yes.
All right, I'll
That is
just
like
quickly.
going one grade down.
Yeah, yeah. I'll quickly rush through them because I feel like what book could go. Do you feel more confident
Yeah.
in achieving your goals after these workshops? What specifically give you that confidence?
Uh, I mean, I have somebody for accountability. Like Akshath is always there. कि अगर I feel like I fall off, like I am really really inspired by you because if I don't think you will fail. पता नहीं मेरे को ऐसा एक feeling ऐसा आता है कि Akshat I don't think कि he'll get his 10,000 subscribers by December.
Yeah.
I have this feeling कि the way he is motivated, like he is inspiring me कि अच्छा अगर मैं उसको follow करूंगा तो मैं भी कुछ कर पाऊंगा. So and again second thing कि वो है like I'll go and text him कि Akshat see this is happening, that is happening. So I feel कि मैं जब भी गिरूंगा I have somebody like not only Akshat, he also has this nas.io wala thing,
Yeah.
his own community. So if I
If
go and
someone
talk
doesn't
to
know,
them,
he's also in
I'll
the paid community, by the way. Please go on.
yeah. So if I go to his community, क्योंकि मेरे friends are shit.
Yeah.
I'll just say
Totally.
my friends are shit. मैं उनके पास जाके
Absolutely.
नहीं पूछ सकता कि भाई मेरा ऐसा चल रहा है. वो
वो
मेरे को
बोलेंगे
कुछ ना कुछ
Brawl
तो गाली
Stars
वाली
खेल
देके
रहा
भगा
था.
देंगे. हाँ,
All
so
right.
exactly. Brawl Stars खेल टेंशन
Okay.
दूर हो जाएगा तेरा. हाँ
Okay.
मतलब यही कि if I go and talk to some friends of mine तो नहीं होगा. And द सेंस ऑफ कम्युनिटी हेल्प्स मी कि यार ये लोग तो कर रहे हैं, मैं भी कर सकता हूँ ऐसा, लाइक
Yeah, definitely. Like
भाई.
everybody in the paid community is like purely like as committed as you. सब वहाँ पे पूरे लगे पड़े अपने अपने इसमें जर्नी में. They're not like the as regular as you are in the habit tracker. वो मेरे को नहीं भेज रहे, but I know they're like if I ask for their habit tracker, they'll send me a picture. They are like tracking it on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still like okay. Okay. If you had to explain to someone what you have gained from these workshops, someone who is on the fence about joining, what would you say?
uh, Actually I tried convincing my friends. So एक ने तो ना ही बोल दिया कि सीधा कि बक बक ऐसा नहीं करूंगा मैं सब. And the second one said कि he'll join, but other than that, mm, like whatever you told in this 10-day live workshop ना, I felt कि कुछ crazy सा नया नहीं था. Like if I go to TED Talks, I used to watch this TED Talks and all. उसमें भी यही कहते थे कि your mind is a monkey mind, it'll do shift your attention और ये सब कुछ. But the sense of कि like I used to share my personal problems, right? कि तुम्हें तुम्हें पता है कि my friends are like this, और मुझे brawl stars के लिए invite करते and I go on a rut. So this is a very personalized experience. Like तुम्हें मेरे पर्सनल डिटेल्स के बारे में पता है और यू हेल्प मी सॉल्व द पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स. लाइक और ऐसे वुड से कि टेड टॉक्स में क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है कि उनके प्रॉब्लम्स आई फील आर नॉट वेरी इंडियनाइज्ड.
You can't
कि
relate to
वी
them.
हैव सम सर्टेन क्राइटेरिया टू फॉलो इन इंडिया. हाँ एग्जैक्टली.
Yeah.
लाइक वो लोग कभी भी जाए तो बाहर निकल सकते हैं घर के, दे आर मोर इंडिपेंडेंट. बट हमारे घर में भी हैव अ नॉर्म कि यू हैव टू स्टे एट हाउस, यू हैव टू स्टे एट योर हाउस एंड फॉलो स्टडीइंग, यू नीड टू परस्यू स्टडीइंग, और तुम जल्दी उठना है वो सब, यू नीड टू फॉलो योर पेरेंट्स. सो यू
Yeah.
बेसिकली नो, basically I can relate to you, that is the right thing to say
Yeah,
कि I can
abroad में
relate to
they're
you.
like the foreign kids are like teenagers वो पैसे कमा रहे होते हैं like हमारी एज में. They're 19 में they have like
हाँ
a stable
exactly.
job. They're either working as like waiters in the restaurant or something like that. They have a source of income.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I decided कि मैं एक paid community बनाऊंगा, एक free भी बनाऊंगा, so that people who absolutely cannot afford can still like be there. But I still kept the paid community still fairly low, so that लोग अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं. 250 रुपये लाइक 300 रुपये तो नेटफ्लिक्स में यूज करता तुम लोग. तो डेफिनेटली लाइक
Mm-hmm.
अफोर्डेबल बना के रखा है जस्ट सो इस एस्पेक्ट में भी पीपल कैन लाइक एक्चुअली टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ इट. मोस्टली मुझे लगता है कि इट्स अकाउंटेबिलिटी. And the thing that you said that like, I'm more relatable. I can give personalized experiences, personalized advices to you. Definitely I'm going to take live sessions in the community as well. और भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. There's the habit tracker that I ask you to send to me every single day. Like ये सारी चीजें ना YouTube पे नहीं होती. In I said this in the beginning of my workshop. If you remember, 10 दिन से पहले I was like, this is not a knowledge based like course, because ये सारी information हर जगह तुम्हें मिल जाएगी. I'm like this. I'm working towards helping you transform, helping you become a different version of yourself at the end. I feel like I did a good job at doing that. Because जिससे मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, रविंद्र से I asked, ध्रुति से I asked, पार्थ से I asked, they were like कि अक्षत कुछ नया नहीं बताया तूने, but it's just that हमें पता था कि तू वहां पे है. We felt like we had a mentor जिसको हमें हैबिट ट्रैकर रोज भेजना था, जैसे जो हमें देख रहा है, जो हमारा स्कोर रख रहा है, राइट. So I felt like that was like a big thing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do you feel more disciplined or focused compared to before you joined the workshop? I think you already answered this. Yes, you do. All right. So, what results or improvement have you noticed in your consistency, productivity, or habits? If there's something that you'd like to say about that.
Not a lot of changes, like 20 days have passed, but ऐसा कुछ extreme crazy नहीं है. But I had one tracker for micro discipline जहाँ पे
Yeah, yeah.
what I used to do when मैं college से आने के बाद what I used to do was sometimes I used to have my shoe outside and my keys हमेशा खो देता था keys का, and I don't know what problem I have with, but I used to lose my keys and I used to get a scolding every day. तो मैंने वो micro discipline वाले tracker में लिखा, and now I place my keys in the place the keys in the hanger. तो
Okay.
अब मुझे हमेशा वो याद रहता है कि वो हैंगर में. So this 1% changes मुझे लगता है कि I have made changes. That's
Definitely.
it. ऐसा कुछ extreme में नहीं कि
ये छोटी छोटी चीजें
I have not felt
these
कि
are
इतना
all
extreme
gonna
change.
add up. So this is like a good
Mm,
starting point. As I said, like workshop में भी बार बार बोल रहा था, like 30 दिन में भी कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला. Like this is just you building up the foundation.
exactly.
उसके बाद बस like keep doing this for the rest of your life. एक साल के अंदर अंदर you'll be like transformed. तो अचानक से ही ऐसा होएगा, like now I am consistent. Like this was this one moment in time where I was going to the gym and I was like पिछले कुछ महीनों से, like 4-6 महीनों से एक भी दिन मैंने जिम का मिस नहीं करा. So you will get that like
Mm,
one sort of like memory, and it'll be like, okay, fuck, I'm consistent now. Okay, I'm disciplined. That's very
mhm.
cool experience. Last question: how would you rate your overall experience in the workshop, and what has been your biggest takeaway from that?
Biggest takeaway. I still need to like still need to put efforts. कि ऐसा नहीं कि ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाएगा वो सब कुछ. मुझे कॉन्स्टेंटली एफर्ट और अपना विल पावर तो यूज करना ही पड़ेगा. दैट इज द टेक अवे. दैट इज द टेक अवे कि मुझे कुछ ना कुछ एफर्ट, लाइक मुझे लगता था कि अगर 1% ही कर रहा था, हाउ इजी इज दैट. वो सिर्फ चाबी लटकाना है, बट वो चाबी लटकाना इज अगेन स्टिल डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी.
Yeah,
मैं भूल जाता हूँ बार बार कि ओके मुझे ये करना था, मुझे करना था. सो आई स्टिल नीड टू पुट एफर्ट. मैंने कोई ये टेक अवे मिला है.
and also
दैट्स
these things
सिंपल.
like compound
या
too.
दैट्स.
When you're doing these like small tiny things, you don't realize this, but like जब when you have done those enough, like भी 2-3 साल से जब करने लगते हो, you realize कि ये जो छोटी छोटी चीज है, जब तुम 100 दिन के लिए करते हो, it becomes a big thing. Like पर्सनालिटी चेंज हो जाती है, मेंटालिटी चेंज हो जाती है, दिमाग में नई सर्किट्स बन जाते हैं. It's so significant, you don't realize it until you do it for 100 days. So I think that will happen to you after by the end of this year if you stick to it, which I think you will. So thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much for saying all the nice
थैंक
things
यू
that you
अक्षत.
said. Thank you so much for being consistent, taking action, being disciplined, accepting me as your mentor.